Hey guys, I want to take you through how I lay out deck railing posts. It can be kind of confusing at times if you've never done it before or slightly intimidating. Today we're doing a fascia mount post, so I'm going to run you through. I haven't done it yet. I have one post mounted just as an end post where I figured out where that needed to go. So now I'm going to take you through the entire process of how I figured that out, and that way, the next time you're doing this, or you can apply this to other things in your life as well, you might be able to have a really nice, equal way to do it and a quicker way than maybe you've tried to figure it out in the past. So the first thing I did was I drew a diagram of where I needed all my posts to go. And for this tutorial, we're just gonna do this straight run right here. There's 2 end posts and 5 line posts. It's a 30-foot run. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and lay those out and figure out exactly in real time how we do this. So the first thing I had to do was get more than a 25-foot tape measure. So I got my old 40-footer out, and we're gonna figure out the distance from where the first post is to where the outside post is down here. Okay, so the first thing I have to do is get my layout of my far end going, and that's what I'm gonna do right now. And then I'll figure out how all the center posts will go in between these 2 end posts. So I always figure out my ends first. So let's do that first. All right, for this particular rail, since it's cable rail, we don't want more than a 5-foot span in between posts. Why? Because cable will only span 5 feet or less. If you span more than 5 feet, either you gotta have a center tensioner, which I don't like those. I don't think they look that great. Or the cable can sag and it can make it so that children can squeeze through it if it's too loose. So that's why we like to go 5 feet or less so that there's no question that it meets all the safety standards and building codes of our local jurisdiction. If this wasn't cable rail, I would go with the manufacturer's recommendation. For picket railing, Regal Ideas, we can go up to 8 feet, but I like to go around 6 feet in between posts. And for glass, we can go up to 66 inches, which is about 5'6". Again, that's all determined by the manufacturer and what will pass their stringent building codes for their products. So they have national distribution, so it has to meet all 50 states when they make these products. So for example, one brand of cable, you might be able to span so far, but one brand with pickets, you can span a little bit further, but not more than a certain amount of feet. So check with your manufacturer and make sure that you're putting your posts in the proper locations for that particular product you're putting in. Okay, so now I have my diagram. So now I need to figure out the distance between my 2 end posts. So I'm gonna start by measuring right here and taking this tape all the way down to the other end of the deck, which I need somebody to step on that. Okay. So now I know that my first post, here's my end post right here, it's gonna be 3.5 inches off the corner of this deck. Okay. So I'm gonna put a mark at 3.5 inches right here. That's the outside of this post. But when you're trying to measure this out, I'm measuring from the left side of the post to the left side of the post. So this is the right side of the post, not the left side of the post. My post is 2 3/8 of an inch. I'm gonna burn an inch and measure 2 3/8. So I'm gonna go 3 3/8 right there. So there's my mark. And because I'm doing a fascia mount and I need to shave this material back a little bit, I'm gonna put all my marks on the outside of the deck board so that I don't have any marks up here, because I'd have to erase them, unfortunately, because I don't have any way to cover it. So I'm just gonna mark to the outside so I don't have to do that. Okay, I have 352.5 inches. That's why I pulled out a 40-foot tape, because my 25-footer wouldn't give me that measurement easily. So I'm 352.5. 352.5, okay. So now what I'm gonna do, so I'm gonna go to my construction calculator. I have 352 inches and a half. So 352 inch and 1/2 divided by how many gaps there are in this system, in this row. How many gaps there are in this run. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 gaps. So I have to take 352.5 inches and divide it by 6 gaps, and that gives me 58 3/4. So that's the magic number. 58 3/4 inches is the gap I need in between each one of these posts. So now I'm gonna take that, I'm gonna go back over here, and I'm gonna measure. Oh, I already lost it on my calculator, that's okay. 58 inch, that's why I wrote it down, 3/4 plus. So first thing I'm gonna do is find 58 3/4, and I'm gonna mark that out right here. There's 58 3/4, I'm gonna put an X on it. The mark is on the left side of the post. So I'm marking to the right where the post needs to go. Okay, so I got 58 3/4. I'm gonna hit plus, and I'm gonna hit equals, and it's gonna add another 58 3/4 to that measurement. So it's 117.5. There's 117.5, put an X. Hit equals, 176.25, right there, put an X. Hey, look, we're gonna cover up one of our seams. Cool, hit equals again, 235. Come over to 235, mark it, put an X, hit equals, 293 3/4, 293 3/4. Right there, X. And then just for giggles, let's just hit equals one more time. 352.5, look at that. 352.5, right there, X. Okay, that's how I figure out how to gap equally all of my posts. That way, when I install these, I know that there's gonna be an equal amount of space between each post, all the way from the run, from one end to the other. I think that's an accurate way. I've been doing this for 30 years, and it's one of the most accurate ways I figured out, just working from left to right, just like you're reading a book, and figuring things out will get you there. So I hope somebody learned something from this tutorial. If you did, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and the bell icon to be notified when we're putting out new content. Thank you so much for watching this video, guys. Have a great day.